On this channel, we really do love comparing and contrasting Team Fortress 2 and every other class-based shooter. Not only did Team Fortress 2 lay down the foundation for such a genre, it also did it with some amazing execution that it's still very much surprising to this day. Now, there is one thing that Team Fortress 2 did that really resonated with me when it comes to design, and that's that even though Team Fortress 2 has the name Team in it, Valve intentionally designed the game to not be so team-focused. And keep in mind, I'm talking about vanilla Team Fortress 2 here. The game doesn't really work like how you would think a team-based shooter works, especially nowadays. In the vanilla casual TF2 experience, team coordination really isn't a must or even incentivized really. And for that reason, as well as many other reasons that I'm going to talk about in this video, I believe Team Fortress 2 makes a pretty good argument that teamwork kinda sucks. And let me explain. Now, in my original video, I was actually going to talk about Overwatch when it came as the contrast to Team Fortress 2. After all, they do have many similarities as well as one being inspired by the other. The difference is just how it is all executed. However, I realized that for this video, that would really leave a lot of holes in the argument. After all, while these games do have very similar qualities, they are also fundamentally different. They're designed with different gameplay goals in mind, and because of that, the entire point of this video might not be so convincing, as one could argue that the abilities, or maybe the way that the heroes are designed, are truly the reasons for the negativity that could be brought by teamwork. And so I looked elsewhere, and wouldn't you know it, there's already something that exists that shows my point even greater than Overwatch. One that just doesn't show that teamwork sucks, but also that it can bring out the worst in people. And that one thing is man versus machine. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start thinking about what actually happens in a casual Team Fortress 2 match. After all, saying that Team Fortress 2 isn't designed around teamwork is kind of a stretch on paper, as characters like Engineer and Medic are more or less support characters. They both have tools that are meant to help their teammates. And of course, you could even argue that other characters have support tools at their disposal if they wanted to, such as Pyro with his air blast and Soldier with his banners. But the question here is, do you really need team coordination in order to succeed with them? Do you really need to heavily rely on your own team with specific people coordinating together in order to see huge success with them? And in my honest opinion, not really. Engineer's buildings provide so much support for his team, but to his rest of his team, it really is just a little bit of defense, sustainability, and a way to move around quickly. Not to mention that Engineer can be really selfish with his placements on dispensers and teleporters, but can still passively provide support for his team. Do they need it? Not really. Do they need to coordinate with the Engineer? Not really either. What about Soldier's buff banners? Again, these are tools that provide so much support for their team, but at the end of the day, really doesn't require any coordination. Those people just have to be around the soldier. No real coordination needed. And more often than not, that's merely enough to get some success out of it. The only class that has any coordination actively promoted with is Medic. After all, he is the one healer in the game. But does he really need to coordinate in order to see success with his healing? Again, the answer is not really. The only real mechanic in the game that has any team coordination going for it is the Uber charge. But does that really define the game as being a very team-coordinated game? Well, I don't think so. If you really think about it, the team in Team Fortress 2 is very superficial. With the vanilla casual TF2 experience, you're pretty much on your own. Sure, you can coordinate, but in reality, is it necessary in order to succeed? No, of course not. And that's why I think Team Fortress 2 is just so successful, because honestly, not having to rely on teammates makes Team Fortress 2 kind of a laid-back game, and really doesn't have anything negative coming out of it because of the lack of team coordination. Sure, some people get really upset because of the lack of team coordination, but really, it just wasn't designed for it. It was designed for every player to have their own little adventure, some of them teaming up, some of them not, and all of them working for a common goal. And with the way that the game is designed, it is a very heavy possibility that you as a single player can definitely carry a game. You don't really need your teammates in order to win or have fun, so I do think that this keeps the frustration and toxicity, at the very least the toxicity originating from teamwork, at a bare minimum. So what exactly does this have to do with man versus machine? Well, man versus machine is pretty much the polar opposite of the classic TF2 experience. In man versus machine, you do have to rely on your teammates. You can't just carry the game by yourself. You could try, but you're really not going to see that kind of success. If everybody is not putting their input into the match, then you're most likely going to lose. And that's because every team member is crucial to the success of a team. Scout picks up money, Demoman is able to do an immense amount of damage to the robots, Heavy is able to do a lot of damage as well to a single robot, Engineer is the best at area denial from small robots, Pyro is also very efficient at destroying tanks as well as other small enemies, and of course you have Medic, which keeps the entire group alive. And of course you also have Soldier, which again deals immense amount of damage, and of course Spy and Sniper, which are very good at picking important enemies like Uber Medics. Every class of every team is beneficial to the success of MVM. You need all of 6 of them, and you need all 6 of them coordinating together in order to have a successful run. Otherwise, the bomb is gonna get to the point, and you're gonna lose. And it goes without saying that this brings out the worst in people. Because of how much you have to depend on other teammates, it's really easy to start blaming other players for losing. Put on top of that of the monetary reward that you get out of an MVM match, and that toxicity gets increased up to 11. Because people don't like to have their time wasted when it should be something straightforward. Losing and having to start over just takes way too much time, and that gets people frustrated. Losing in a regular match of TF2 means basically nothing. It's a casual match. You're not there to gain XP, you're not getting any kind of reward like skins, you're not getting anything, so of course it doesn't really matter. But in man versus machine, it kinda does matter. Now, I know that a lot of people don't actually play MVM, you know, MVM is kind of an old game mode, and a lot of new players just aren't interested in it. They just like playing casual TF2. And because of that, you might not be aware of just how bad MVM gets. How much toxicity there is because of how much you have to depend on your team. I really wish that a rage quit would be the end of the story, but that doesn't tend to be the case. Now, this is for those who haven't been aware of this, but just to inform you in case you ever do want to play MVM through matchmaking, if you're a new player, let me just let you know that there's an entire community dedicated to keep you out. This is how bad it gets. Now on paper, this community isn't that bad, right? They just want to make MVM efficient as possible so that way they can increase their chances of getting the Australian weapons, you know, getting really expensive items out of the game. And to do it with the least obstacles as possible. If it was just that, that'd be great. There wouldn't be any issue. Just a way to find teammates that share your same likeness of playing the game as efficiently as possible. That's understandable, fine. You know what? We all like fancy skins, that's cool. But where it starts getting bad is when you have the community encouraging behavior that is meant to keep new players out, that is meant to keep those that aren't playing the most efficiently from enjoying the game that's meant for everyone. Intentionally going out of the way to disrupt games just to punish you for not playing the way they want you to play it. Because again, they need everybody to be playing as efficiently as possible so that way they don't waste their precious time. Which is pretty damn ironic, because if you go out on YouTube and you look up videos about these communities, right? I'm sure you've seen them in your recommended if you've played TF2 and look up TF2 content, especially this infamous video right here. You'll find that these people just go out of their way to disrupt the lobby to prevent you from completing a tour. Because, why? You weren't playing as efficiently as possible, and because of that, you have to be punished for that grave sin, and they want you to know that you're being punished. Wasting their own time just to make you miserable when they could just leave the lobby and queue up with 6 other people. They didn't even have to play with randoms, but they decided to do so anyways. And they use exploits to prevent you from completing that tour, wasting your own time. You could try waiting them out, but they literally have nothing else better to do, so of course they'll wait you out longer. Honestly, at that point, just try to find 5 other people to play with, so that way you don't have to deal with these people. This is how bad it gets. And this is why I kind of see this as a consequence of teamwork, and why teamwork in video games tends to suck so much, especially in online ones where you have to play with random people on the internet. You could argue that casual TF2 has seen a lot worse with the bot infestation, but the bot infestation isn't caused by you playing the game with a lack of teamwork. That's not what that was causing. The bot infestation is just malicious actors. These aren't people trying to play the game. They're just trying to ruin people's fun in general. With MVM, that whole situation is caused because of the fact that you need to depend on other people to play the game. One problem is caused by a third party, something outside of the realm of the game. The other one is done because of the game mechanics. And of course, you see this similar behavior in other games that are also very much team-based. In Left 4 Dead, for whatever fucking reason, you also see this as well. Competitive shooters like Overwatch, you have people throwing the game because they just don't like the way that you're playing because it doesn't synergize with how they like to play. And of course, there are other countless examples. Anyways, I think Valve hit the nail in the coffin when designing their game. They knew the consequence of team-based gameplay and decided to not go with it. And I think this is what makes Team Fortress 2 a nice, casual, timeless masterpiece. One where you can honestly just drop in whenever and get out whenever you'd like, nobody cares, you're just playing the game. And those who do care and decide to complain are stupid. And at the same time can't do anything about it to ruin your fun. You want to play Spy? Go ahead and play Spy and camp way behind enemy lines. You want to play Trolldier? Go ahead, nobody's depending on you. Anyways, now I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about this video? What do you think about teamwork in general in games? Make sure to leave your response in the comment section below. If you found this video interesting, like it if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and if you'd like to see more videos in the future just like this, make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later.